Hi, my name is Sophia Naut, and today for the subject of English syntax, I'm going to talk about syntactic linkage according to the grammatical functions. And basically, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to talk about a story of mine. This video will be a kind of story time, anecdote of my time on the high school, and in this way we can learn about some agreements and the government. So, first, before to start talking about that, as a rule of the subject, it's important to show my ID. There is. So, once we make that, we can start it. So, okay. So, I'm going to talk about my anecdote, and I'm going to make this pause in the story at the moment to show you. Even you will able to see on the slides uh, the rules and the highlight, because I decided to separate them. Well, not separate, but put kind of subtitles, something like that, to show you the agreement. Well, this anecdote, the story happened to me when I was in high school, my second year in high school. So, also, disclaimer, very important to mention that I decided to change the name of my teacher for security to mine and security to others. No? Well, I have this teacher for this moment, it's going to be Mr. Johnson. So, I went second year in high school, and Mr. Johnson gave me history class. So, and I don't remember the day, but I remember that usually his hours when after of the break, we have the regular break uh, after 10 a.m. So, when you finish your recess, your break, you go into classroom to very silent, like it's still talking with your friends or something like that, talking what happened. So So okay. So in this class, Mr. We're going to see we're seeing the Asian culture, and this class we talking about the Egyptian culture. You know, the parents, pharaohs, their gods, something like that. And for them skills, I was sitting at the middle of the classroom. We call middle near to the final row, and I had this group of my friends. They were like they were this type of classmate I described before, like the very exciting. They weren't still talking. They still wanted to eat, something like that. So they start to talking about what they do in the recess and the break, and obviously it was like they making a lot of loud noise to the classroom. And Mr. Johnson was very, I would describe her, he's a very calm person, and something that have Mr. Johnson, that have a peaceful voice. If we have, his speech is always in the middle, was always in the middle. Uh, he, he didn't have a loud pitch, how we call it. So, okay, my classmates, they were and whispering to each other and holding back the loud. And so it was the moment with, in that moment, I didn't know anything about this agreement. But now, when we are start thinking about what anecdote I can use for that, um, and with the theory we have seen, it was like, oh my God, Mr. Johnson was using that. So was I would say was an expert using grammar rules to keep things in order, and that's something surprised me. So this will be like introduction to the anecdote. So we continue. We have this. I'm going to move the camera. Okay. To no broke the text. So in this part we aside to roof agreements. So we can see here. This is why I'm talking. I divide the text with subtitle where we can find these rules. So the first rule is the agreement of subject and verb. So my classmates are laughing, they whisper in each other, making noise, and even if they are not so loud or noisy, these whisperings bother to the rest of the class, and especially for a teacher, they are trying to give his class. So I remember saying we're talking about the parents, and my classmate making some jokes about that, and somebody, Mr. Johnson said, class is a singular subject, it must take notes. So we can see that here the agreements about the singular verb and the subject remind us as a student that we should keep our attention on the subject that the teacher is giving, no? And not about what the people behind us is talking about or making jokes. Then we have rule number 2 is pronounce antecedent agreement. So, well, the class still go on, the whispers is still in there, and here the teacher says the second rule. If anyone wants to share the toast, they should raise their hands in questions. And now thinking about it, this is I think one of the most used in the class for the teachers. So okay, and the teachers this agreement used for to indicate the agreement between the pronoun anyone instance and its antecedents or undefined student, but also to mention that if you want to speak, you can do it from the class, from the topic. No about we we don't want to know your jokes, something like that. Then we move to the rule number 3. So when the words become loud vowels, Miss Johnson inserted this rule about a lesson is in the present tense, not the past. He said, I remember that he said, and so with intention or with the objective to for the class schedule highlight how quickly we all learn together, and to see to the crowd like, look, this is what we're seeing. No, in this case, I think it's very well because the group who making noise was behind us. And then we have rule number 4, agreement on numbers with nouns. So the troublesome group, my classmate, and persist in their routine. And for this moment, I was very scared because I was near of them. I was above front of them, but I was so scared that the teacher told that I was in full pain. I was with them. So, well, in this occasion, New Johnson I want to say like something like students with questions should address into the entire class. It's very similar to the rule number 2, like giving your attention to the class. You can talk about the class and don't try to interrupt your another classmates. So the class sharing accountability for helping other servers as the base for agreement. And the last rule number 5, adjusting agreement. I think this I really scared for my life. I remember I remember with my classmate whispering like, Sophia, move to the side, move to the side. I didn't know why. No, I have to mention something. Before then, before that, he asked me for paper, for a sheet of paper, and I was like, oh well, they finally going to pay attention to the class and take new notes. But no. So the disciplinary appears to have been subdued by the language rule, but then a paper airplane took off and landed on Mr. Johnson's desk. Well, I not final thinking. I think it was more to the board of the class than the desk. I have to correct that, but was like something like that. And he flew near to the desk. It was like that. So in this moment, my neurons connected with the paper they asked me. They made the airplane, and I was so scared that again that they imprint me in this scandal. Okay, so Mr. Johnson took the airplane and said carefully and briefly, respect is due to this craft run. So a learning environment is not appreciated to be described by throwing paper airplanes, and it's not what we deserve. So I'm going to move on. For in this case, for the final section of this story, we're going to move. We're going to find a government cause, in this case, accusative. So when Mr. Johnson chose to face the paper airplanes, this action is accusative, a direct offense against the order we are meant to maintain this shared space. So the direct action that have upset the peace in the classroom was brought to light by accusory case. So in this case, we can see why it's accusative, because the group of behind accused to break the objective that we have in class about respect the teacher, respect not the teacher, respect the people who is in front of talking, and also in respect for the other member of the class, and also like I say, it's like say our paper apron is more interesting than the class or something like that for part of this group. So, well, finally, by the end of the class, this class I remember last 2 hours were the 2 hours more longer of my life. So, but we can see how Mr. Johnson and the language that Mr. Johnson has skillfully incorporated into the rules that we have in the class. So, as management in the classroom and for management these behaviors sometimes the students have, no matter their age. So, and this serve for us as a collaborative learning area have revert to the proper arrangement with the accusative, genitive, and nominative function together that we know for that. So in many respects, the story about this anecdote might serve now for to see how the language has the influence that language has on human behavior, but also always depend each time because I remember that for that time when Mr. Johnson said the rule that I said before, he didn't say screaming or very angry, so he tell in with a lower tone, a high pitch. So they for a testament to I say that, but I'm respecting you but not screaming. So in this case, we keep the respect between us. So well, I hope that will be everything I hope you really like